A fun way to add yet another dimension to your patterns, or another layer or more depth, is to actually add some other kind of subtle pattern in the background of your pattern that adds just a little bit more visual interest and makes your pattern feel more engaging and more interesting. So let's talk about a couple of different ways that we can do that. So one way is to create some kind of subtle geometric pattern, like a grid or a repeating hexagon pattern or diamonds or something like that, or stripes even, in the background of your design. And that can be very simple. So when I'm creating some kind of subtle texture for my background, just to make sure that it doesn't get too insane and busy for your eyes, is to use some color that's close to your background. Like for example, I might choose either the same color that I used for these shadows, or something, you know, slightly lighter than the background color, something maybe in between. I'm not sure yet, but let's try a few things and we will see what we think. So I'm going to use, I'm going to use my rectangle tool here and just make some horizontal stripes and see how that goes. So I'm actually going to cut this. I want it to be behind all of the motifs. So what I'm going to do is select everything and then go to paste in back. So now I can see that it's behind all of my motifs, exactly where I want it to be. And now I can simply copy and paste this line and know that it's just going to copy right on top of that line and still be behind all the motifs. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this quickly and use my keyboard shortcuts. So Command C for copy, Command F for paste in front. That'll paste it right in front of that line rather than pasting it in some funny spot, which often happens if you just do regular paste, which is Command V, or up here just the regular paste. I like to paste in front or paste in back because I know exactly where it's going to end up. So Command C, Command F, and then I'm just simply moving it down a couple of clicks with my keyboard arrows. Command C, Command F, and then sometimes, just so it doesn't take forever, you can copy a bunch at the same time. Command C, Command F, move all those down, and then select all those, but not the flowers. So to do that, just by the way, to deselect something that I don't want selected, you just hold down the Shift key and click right on that shape that you don't want in your selection, and then that'll deselect only that one thing. Command C, Command F, and again, I'm just using my keyboard arrows to move those down. Command C, Command F. And when you're creating a background pattern like this, it's important to remember that it needs to repeat in the exact same way that your motifs already repeat. So if there is something overlapping on the top or the bottom, which I feel like I should add one more. So like this one is overlapping on the top here, it also needs to overlap in exactly the same spot in the bottom. So I'll go ahead and select that, move it down 8, copy. And so now that repeats in exactly the same way that the rest of my pattern does. And since it's just a rectangle, I already know it's horizontally aligned from left to right. I just want to make sure that I've overlapped it on both edges to make sure that that'll repeat seamlessly as well. And that's looking kind of fun. I kind of like that. Let's see what it's going to look like if I make it into a grid instead. So I'm going to select all these lines and then hold down my Shift key and just deselect these flowers because I don't want to move those. And then I'm going to, let's see, copy this, paste in front. So now I have a copy of all those lines. I'm going to go to my rotate tool, double click, rotate it 90 degrees, and click OK. Okay, so that is a little bit crazy. So one thing that I might do if I kind of am liking the idea of the grid, which I sort of am, but it just like that's a little bit too busy. One thing that I should have done or could have done is group all of these together so I don't have to select them all at the same time. I can just now click on one and it selects the whole thing. And I'll do that here as well. Group. Command G is the keyboard shortcut for that. Is just try a different color. So let's just choose something that's maybe a little bit lighter than the background. Like maybe a little bit better. Let's see, let's go with this dark one again and maybe just try to choose something that's kind of in between the background and the shadow color. Like that's sort of fun. Okay, I'm kind of liking that. So let's see how that repeats. Let's go ahead and unlock that. And we'll make a new swatch. So I selected everything, and my background square and my magic square are still there from my previous lesson, so I don't have to make those again. Okay, and then we'll move over and make a big square. Okay, and fill it. So here's the one from the last lesson, and here is our new version. So you can see it just adds a new kind of really cool and fun dimension that wasn't there before. And I'll click between the two again. So that can be really fun to play with. And you can do, I mean, really anything that you want. So I'm gonna hide these. Okay, and try something different. So let's go with, I don't know, a hexagon. And we'll make it, I don't know, 0.3 inch radius. We'll see. Okay, so let's see how that's gonna look. I think maybe a little bit smaller is probably gonna be better. And then maybe we'll make it a little bit thicker, so we'll up the stroke here. And then I can either, let's lock those, relock them. I can either just hold down my command, or hold down my option key rather, and click, hold, and drag, and just repeat that hexagon, and you know, put it kind of wherever I want, just as a subtle, like geometric-esque pattern, but that's also still sort of random in the background. That could be potentially kind of fun. They are not repeating in the background though, because I have not pasted them behind everything. There we go. That could be fun. You could also make like a honeycomb pattern, make it actually repeat properly. So I'm going to do Command C, Command F to paste a copy in front and make, you know, like a little hexagon repeat there. Command C, Command F. Get that in position. It's not lining up totally fine, so I could always use my align tool as well. And there are easier ways to make this repeat exactly right, but I'm just doing kind of the quick and dirty way. And then you could, you know, copy that, hold down my option key, and just kind of keep repeating that sort of pattern, like a honeycomb pattern behind the rest of your motifs. Let me go ahead and group that together. You can also, you don't have to fill the whole background. Cut that, paste in back. Now it's behind my motifs. You can, you know, just make a few different kind of instances of this honeycomb shape and then have pieces of that overlapping behind your motifs. That could be kind of interesting. So there are lots of ways that you can just add like a subtle texture to your pattern just by adding, you know, repeated shapes either across the whole design or just in little pieces like this. It can be really fun to do it this way, but then, you know, take out an element here and there just to make it look not quite so obvious that you've been just repeating the same shape over and over. That can be useful. So let's bring these forward. So you can see I'm just doing a lot of arranging, bringing things forward, bringing things back. Let's bring that one forward too. And I'm not loving this one as much as I liked the grid, but Command X, Command B, that's the shortcut for paste in back. But we'll see, it might end up looking kind of cool once it's repeated. It's just, these are fun things to play around with just to see if you can come up with something in your pattern that just is a little bit, you know, unexpected and fun. Oops. bring that forward. There are keyboard shortcuts for all of this, of course, but it can be useful to watch where things are located in Illustrator, especially when you're just learning this stuff. Okay, and again, you'll just want to make sure that anything that is overlapping on the left is also overlapping in the same spot on the right, and same goes for top and bottom, of course. So let's see, we'll paste that in back. And I don't think I have anything overlapping on the left. I do have this on the top, so let's move that down 8, copy. And looks like we're gonna have to move this a little bit, which is fine. And then, so you can see putting a pattern together is kind of just like putting a puzzle together. Like just move things around until they seem to fit correctly. So -8 is moving to the left. I'm copying over from the right to the left now, so that's a negative number. Vertical is 0. There we go. Okay, so we're almost done here. Let's just make a couple more little hexagons here. You could also change the shape of these hexagons just for a little bit extra variety. And okay, so let's unlock everything. And my magic square is still there. I haven't deleted that, so I don't need to make that again. And we'll click, hold, and drag. And there's my new swatch right next to my other swatches. And we'll go back to the rectangle tool here, make a big square. And here is our grid from the last one. There's our hexagon. So you can see that adds it's a totally different feel now. So something fun to play around with. And in the next video, we will talk about textures rather than geometric patterns, which can be another fun way to add some subtle depth to your pattern. So I will see you there.